But I don't think you can have your cake and eat it too. I don't think you can claim that religion is completely about things that can't be tested, at least organized religions. Now, some people say they're spiritual and all the rest. So I don't know if you want to comment on that.
There is an empirical component, right, to every religion, but the place of that empirical component is important. None of the mature religions say that we start deriving our religion by observing the world and working our way to the existence of God and then all sorts of other things. The starting point officially always is God speaking to human beings, to certain special individuals. So it's a non-empirical starting point. The other is that, yes, and this is the part that you're beating up on quite well, is to say when the religions do make an empirical claim, virgin birth, Jonah, whale, and so forth, they are speaking about the world. And I think a part of religion is that they do want to give us advice about how the world works and how we're supposed to act in the world. So they are interested in empirical matters. But where the other empiricism also has no bite in the major religions is what happens when the kinds of problems that you are citing, and I would agree that those are problems, come up. You make this empirical claim religiously, and you cannot empirically justify that, or rationally justify that, or experimentally justify it. What is your reaction to that? If you are an empiricist fundamentally, then what you do is you say, if my hypothesis does not fit the data, ultimately I have to get rid of the hypothesis. The modern religions don't do that.
They certainly don't.
That's right. So that then is to say, neither at the beginning nor at the end, the terminus point of a reasoning process, does empiricism have bite in any of the modern religions?
Let's just take Christianity. I think it's interesting because I think many people would say, what does it mean to be a Christian? Now, in fact, by the way, what people say and what they do is not always the same thing. So in England, the Dawkins Foundation interviewed people who listed themselves as Christian on the census, and they said, do you believe in transubstantiation? Do you believe in the virgin birth? Do you believe in? And it was no, 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 no. Well, why do you call yourself a Christian? I like to think I'm a good person, because Christianity, religion has gotten a monopoly on morality. But I do think if you really asked people, whether it was the Catholic Church or anyone else, what does it mean to be a Christian? I think the answer would be you have to believe in these empirical claims. You have to believe in a virgin birth, and you have to believe in resurrection. Those are two central facets of Christianity, and I think that would be the litmus test. Not that you believe God, some ephemeral being talked to someone else. You may also have to believe that God is the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, and somehow can turn into one another depending upon the mood of the time. But that's a much more ephemeral notion. But I think I'd be amazed if any church would say, well, you can believe in that Christianity is more than believing in a virgin birth and a resurrection. Most important, the resurrection, which is a central part of Christianity because it gives hope for humanity. So I think in some sense, at least Christianity is really defined by those two empirical claims. But you don't think so?
I think part of every religion is empirical claims.
What's Christianity except for those claims? Let me put it that way. If you take away those two empirical claims, what's left for Christianity?
The issue is not, do the empirical claims not belong to Christianity? They absolutely do. Right. So if we take, for example, virgin birth as the claim. Now, the claim definitely is there was a woman, flesh and blood woman, named Mary. She was a virgin. She had not had sex with Joseph, to whom she was betrothed. That's another empirical claim. Should be a matter of history. There was a claim that she became pregnant through a certain miraculous process. Now, that miracle word, I think we have to come back to, right? If we're going to talk about empiricism.
Yeah.
Right? And then that someone also communicated to Joseph, right, that Mary had not been unfaithful to him, even though every other young woman in the world who's ever become pregnant became pregnant a certain way. Right? And Joseph believed that, and he was fine to go along with that. So that's a whole series of empirical claims about the world. If we ask, though, of your current Christians, why do you believe that? The justificatory claim is not an empirical claim. The claim is, I read it in the Bible.
Well, I read it in the Bible.
Okay, and that is not an empirical claim.
Well, if
Unless
someone
I wanted
takes the
them to
Bible
back
as a
it up
scientific
that's
document.
right. But then the people you're talking about don't do that. They take it, and the language they use is, well, that's just how I was raised. And that's not an empirical claim.